Anders, always a pleasure. So your country is being held up as the model for controlling illegal immigration, but the problem is the European Convention of Human Rights, the Council of Europe, they're no friends of the United Kingdom since Brexit. Do you think Shabana Mahmood's plans have a hope in hell of working?
Even in Denmark, who has the most strict migration laws in Western Europe, we cannot stop illegal refugees coming into our country, or asylum seekers. Most of them don't get refugee status, but many are allowed to stay. So as long as you keep this framework of the Human Rights Convention and other conventions, you will never be able to deal with illegal migration effectively, even if you copy all of the Danish legislation that is in place.
And Anders, when you look at some of the more controversial ideas in your legislation, such as taking £1,000 worth of valuables, people in Britain, people in the Labour Party have compared that to 1930s Germany. And also, it's €24,000 that people can be paid to leave the country in Denmark. That's a huge amount of money.
Yeah, and that is what we would say is symbolic measures. It's never really been taken into effect, this idea to take people's jewelry away. It's not something that is used in practice because there's all sorts of limitations. We are not clipping off people's wedding rings and making Auschwitz-like gatherings of valuables from people coming into Denmark. So that is all bogus. But it's something that was implemented by MPs in Denmark to send a signal, and it's basically virtue signaling. And it's a bit the same with the other mission you mentioned. In reality, all of these ideas are coming from a well where you cannot, or you are not willing to confront the conventions, and therefore you are coming up with all sorts of imaginative proposals that has no bearing on the actual outcome of how many refugees coming into Denmark are asylum seekers.
And Anders, can I ask you about Brexit? Because there is a feeling in the United Kingdom that since we left the European Union, OK, the Council of Europe, isn't the same as the European Union, but still, we do feel that we're treated unfairly, perhaps, harshly, perhaps. Do you think there'll be an axe to grind with some of the lawyers in Strasbourg who will make an example of the United Kingdom to try and make our plans fail?
I would say that the court in Strasbourg is very politicized, but it is pro-illegal migrants, no matter whether you're Denmark or the UK. But certainly the feeling amongst the judges in Strasbourg is not pro-Brexit. So I don't think you're getting a better deal there for leaving the Union. But to be honest, one of the worst places that their jurisprudence is coming through is on migration policy. And it's preventing countries from expelling criminals. It's preventing us from sending people back to safe countries. It's preventing them from stopping crossing from France to Britain or from Germany to Denmark, even though any sane person will say that you are quite safe in both France and Germany. So this court is a catastrophe, and it is very politicized in a way where it's going against the will of the European peoples.
And Anders Vistisen, with all of that in mind, Nigel Farage has said the only way for true control of deportation is to leave the European Convention on Human Rights, and that's been echoed by Kemi Badenoch. It's been echoed by others. Do you think that's the only way we can truly maintain and take back control of our borders, of our sovereignty, to leave the ECHR?
I think you need to get a legal exit, at least from the parts of the convention, the articles that is protecting these illegal migrants, and that is the right for family life, the way it is interpreted. That's the right for the Article 3. That's what we call the extraterritorial effect of the treaty. Whether you can leave those parts without leaving the entire treaty, that's a political question. I think Denmark would be very happy to follow suit if there is a pathway found there. But in reality, I think the easiest and most deliverable promise is to leave the convention, and then, of course, protecting people in the way you have done since Magna Carta, basically believing in British democracy and Parliament when it comes to establishing what kind of human rights and freedom rights that should exist in Britain.
OK, well, let's see what happens. But all eyes on this plan. Will it work or not? Will Strasbourg be dead against it? And put the human rights of deportees first. Thank you very much for joining us. That's Anders Vistisen, and as an MEP for the Danish People's Party. Always a pleasure to have your company on GB News.